We are starting with a new topic under the chapter solutions, that is vapor pressure of solutions of liquid in liquids. Okay, so the topic is vapor pressure of solutions of liquid in liquids. Now we have to consider a binary solution here. Now what is this binary solution? Binary solution is a combination of two liquids which are going to mix with each other properly, and the result is going to be a one-phased solution. Again I am repeating, binary solution is a combination of two liquids which are very miscible. Miscible means what? They can mix with each other completely, and they are going to give you a one-phased or a homogeneous mixture. Okay, now here we are taking a binary solution of volatile liquids. Okay, of course it is going to be the binary solution of two volatile liquids. It is understood if it is binary means there are going to be two volatile liquids. Now I hope you know what is the meaning of volatile liquids. So volatile liquid means the ones which are going to vaporize or evaporate and also catch fire at a very quick rate. Okay, so keep in mind, volatile liquids are those liquids which are going to vaporize very fast. So what are we going to do is, we are going to take these two volatile liquids, we are going to mix them with each other, and hence we are going to get our solution. Once that solution is obtained, we are going to keep that solution in a closed container. Now because we know it is volatile, what is going to happen? Of course there has to be vaporization taking place, and also at the same time even condensation is going to take place. And when you know rate of vaporization becomes equal to rate of condensation, equilibrium is achieved. Okay, now if you didn't understand what I mean, I will just show you with the help of a diagram. If we have a liquid here which is highly volatile, okay, so we know there are molecules that are present here and also there are molecules in there. Now what is going to happen? The molecules which are present at the surface, they are at a greater tendency to vaporize. Why so? Because they are pulled only by the molecules which are there in the downward position. Up there is no force of attraction. That is why these molecules that are present at the surface, they are at a greater tendency to vaporize. Whereas those molecules which are present inside, they are pulled from all the parts by the other molecules, right? So of course there will be certain vapors here, and after some time what is going to happen? They are going to condense back. So first vaporization is going to take place, and then condensation is going to take place, and hence your equilibrium is going to be attained. Equilibrium means balance, or you can say that the reaction is stable. Okay, now what they are saying under this is, the partial pressure of components are related to mole fractions in the solution. Okay, I'll just write it down here. The partial pressure of components are related to mole fractions in the solution. Okay, now what is the meaning of this word partial pressure? Okay, so for example, we have air. Okay, we know that air is a mixture of gases, right? So say air is a mixture of gas 1, gas 2, gas 3. Okay, so when we have to find the total pressure, what we will do, we will have the total pressure is equal to the partial pressure of gas 1, partial pressure of gas 2 and partial pressure of gas 3. So what does that mean? The pressure that is contributed by each gas to form the total pressure, that is called as the partial pressure. Okay, so the partial pressure of components are related to the mole fractions in the solution. I hope you remember what is mole fraction. We have studied this in standard 11. Now if you are going to calculate the mole fraction of a solution, I hope you remember how mole fraction is denoted. It is denoted by X, right? So mole fraction of solution, for example, if you want to calculate for solute, then it is going to be moles of solute upon total number of moles of solution. Okay, so this is going to be the formula. If you remember, it was x1 plus x2 is equal to 1. Okay, so basically mole fraction is denoted by the letter X. Okay, now this is what they have explained in terms of a law which is called as Raoult's law. Raoults. Okay, it's called as the Raoult's law. And what is the statement for this law? It states that partial pressure is equal to vapor pressure of pure component, which is equal to mole fraction of solution. Okay, so this is what the law says. The Raoult law says that the partial pressure of gases is equal to the vapor pressure of pure components multiplied by, or is the product of, mole fraction of solution. Okay, now to prove this law, we have already taken two volatile liquids, right? We already have two volatile liquids, so we are going to take it as A1 and A2. Okay, then we are going to take the partial vapor pressure. Now just now I told you what is the meaning of partial vapor pressure. So the partial vapor pressure is going to be P1 and P2. Fine. Then you have the vapor pressure. Okay, I'll tell you what is the meaning of vapor pressure now. Vapor pressure is this pressure, you can say the pressure that is exerted by the molecules which are in contact with the liquid. Okay, so this part or this shows the vapor pressure. Okay, so vapor pressure is denoted by P0 1 and P0 2. Okay, so we have two volatile liquids, A1, A2, partial vapor pressure as P1 and P2, vapor pressure as P0 1 and P0 2, and the last is mole fraction. I told you it is denoted by X. So for A1 it is going to be X, and for A2 it is going to be X2. Now based on this we are going to form the equation for Raoult's law. First we shall frame the equation for the first volatile liquid, that is A1. So I'll just mention it here. volatile liquid A1. Okay, so partial pressure, so look at the partial pressure, so this part, so for A1 what it is, P1, so right, P1 is equal to vapor pressure of pure component. So for A1 the vapor pressure is P1 or P01, so right, P01 multiplied by, in the place of multiplication even you can put the product sign, that is one and the same. Okay, multiplied by or product of mole fraction of solution. So A1 ka mole fraction is X1. So this is going to be your first equation. Similarly, frame the equation for volatile liquid 2. So volatile liquid A2. So what is the partial pressure? So partial vapor pressure for A2 is P2. So P2 is equal to vapor pressure of pure component. So the vapor pressure is P02. So P02 multiplication, product sign, okay, mole fraction of solution. So for A2 it is X2. Okay, so I hope this is clear how we are going to frame the equations for the Raoult's law. After this, we know that according to Dalton's law of partial pressure, so I'll just write it here. According to Dalton's law of partial pressure, we have to write P total, that is the total pressure, is equal to P1 plus P2. Okay, PT stands for the total pressure. Now what you have to do is just substitute equation 1 and 2 in equation 3. Okay, so substituting equation 1 and 2 in equation 3. So start writing it, PT. So PT, in place of P1 you are going to substitute this. So P01 dot X1. Okay, plus sign, in place of P2 you will write this. So P02 dot X2, or you can say product X2. But we know that X1, you can get X1 when you can minus X2 from 1. So you can write it 1 minus X2. So you have to study this by heart. X1 is equal to 1 minus X2. So now you are going to substitute this in the above equation. So start doing it. So PT is equal to P01. So PT is equal to P01. Now in place of X1 I will be substituting this. So that is going to be 1 minus X2. This will remain as it is. So that is P02 X2. Okay. Now after this multiply. So PT is equal to P01 into 1 is going to give me P01 only. And then minus sign, that will be P1 not X2, right? P1 not into X2, it's going to give me P1 not X2 plus P02 dot X2. So this is going to remain as it is. Now you see that X2 is common here, right? So again write this. P2, P02 minus, I'm talking about this term now, okay? So P02 minus P01, common term is this X2. So X2 plus this P01. So this is your Raoult's law. This graph here explains the variation of vapor pressure with mole fraction of solute. If you look at the x-axis, then it denotes the mole fraction and the y-axis denotes the vapor pressure. Now we observe for the first volatile liquid. If you look here where x1 is equal to 1, and on the other side it should be actually x1 is equal to 0. It should not be x2, it should be x1. Okay, so as you see, when x1 is equal to 0, as you move towards x1 is equal to 1, the mole fraction is increasing. You can look here P01. Okay, now move for the second volatile liquid, that is P02. Here when you're now this, it should not be x1 is equal to 0, it should be x2 is equal to 0. Okay, so as you move from x2 is equal to 0 to x2 is equal to 1, you see that again the mole fraction is increasing. Okay, now the third line here, that gives the total pressure, that is P1 plus P2. So of course there is a slight increase that is seen, which is the combination of the vapor pressures of P1 and P2. Kindly make correction in this graph. On the left hand side it is x1 is equal to 1 and x2 is equal to 0, and on the other side is x1 is equal to 0 and x2 is equal to 1. I shall just explain this graph of vapor pressure against mole fraction to you all again. So here it is the x-axis is denoted for mole fraction and y-axis is vapor pressure. Fine. Now here this is the correction that you need to do in the textbook as well. Here x1 is equal to 1 and x1 is equal to 0, and when mole fraction of the second component is 0 and when the mole fraction of the second component is 1. Now first we will be looking at the first pressure of the first solution. So look here, when x1, so for P1 the mole fraction is going to be x1. So when x1 is equal to 0 and as you move towards x1 is equal to 1, you can see that the pressure is increasing. Okay, now if you look for P2, when x2 is equal to 0 and x2 is equal to 1, when you move again, the vapor pressure for P2 also increases, and this here is the total of P1 and P2. You can see the increase there as well. Just a revision for the statement of Raoult's law. It states that the partial vapor pressure of any volatile component of a solution, it is equal to the vapor pressure of the pure component multiplied by its mole fraction in the solution. Based on this Raoult's law, we are going to study two types of solutions. Those are ideal and non-ideal solution. First, we shall start with ideal solutions. And the first statement under ideal solution is solutions which obey Raoult's law on the entire range of concentrations. What does this mean? Whatever or whichever solution you take and whatever is the concentration, it is going to obey the Raoult's law. You know what is the Raoult's law? The partial vapor pressure is equal to the vapor pressure of pure component multiplied by the mole fraction of solution. Second point under ideal solution is enthalpy mixture is equal to 0 for ideal solution. Now we know enthalpy means heat. Now usually what happens is when we mix two solutions, heat is either absorbed or it is given out. That means the reaction is either going to be endothermic or exothermic. But in case of ideal solutions, when you are mixing these solutions, heat is neither absorbed or given out, and that is why it is said that the enthalpy change for the mixture is equal to 0. Why so? Because no change in enthalpy before or after mixing of the solutions. The enthalpy change is denoted by delta H. The next point is the change in volume of a mixture is equal to 0 for ideal solution. Now, what does this mean? When we are mixing two solutions, you will see that the volume of the solution is either going to increase or decrease. But when you are forming or making ideal solutions, you will observe that the volume even after mixing is not going to change. That is, it is not going to increase or decrease. That is why the change in volume is equal to 0 for an ideal solution. And this is the graph for ideal solution, and this is what I've already explained you prior. Now we move on to non-ideal solutions. Okay, so the properties of non-ideal solutions or the characteristics of non-ideal solutions will be opposite to that of ideal solution. So the first point is it is not going to obey Raoult's law on the entire range of concentrations, and the next point is the enthalpy change of mixture is not going to be equal to 0, and the third point is the change in volume of mixture is not going to be 0. So it is just going to be opposite to that of the ideal solution. The next point under non-ideal solution is non-ideal solutions show positive and negative deviations from Raoult's law. Let us see how these deviations are seen. First, we shall study regarding the positive deviation that is shown by non-ideal solution for Raoult's law. Let us assume we are taking two components A and B. Okay, so these are the two reactants, that is AA and BB, giving me the formation of solution to AB. Okay, so these are the two components and I am getting the formation of solution as AB. Now, before these two individual components getting mixed with each other, there were some forces of attraction present between them. I mean, between A and A there was some force of attraction. Between B and B there is some force of attraction. And the new solution that is formed, it is also going to have force of attraction. Okay. So, if the force of attraction is more for these components, when you are comparing it with the force of attraction for the formation of solution here, okay, so if you look here, if the force of attraction is more for the components and if the force of attraction is less for the solution, then the solution that is formed is highly volatile. And when it is highly volatile, means it is going to vaporize or evaporate also very fast. Fine. And it is going to exert more pressure. Because it is exerting more pressure, a positive deviation is seen. Okay. Now this is the graph for ideal solution. I will just tell you what happens when a positive deviation is observed. Okay, instead of getting these straight lines, you will get an increase in the pressure. Something like this. Now we shall see how the negative deviation looks like. Again, I am taking the same example, that is of component AA and BB combining to give me a solution AB. Okay, I told you again, before dissolving each component, that is A and B are going to have their forces of attraction. And the new solution that is formed here also is going to have its force of attraction. But now if you compare with the previous one, what is going to happen here? The force of attraction between the reactant is going to be less and the force of attraction here is going to be more. So when the force of attraction is more for the solution formation, then the liquid that is formed is less volatile. And because it is less volatile, the rate of vaporization also is going to be less. And hence, low pressure will be exerted by this particular liquid. I hope this is clear. Now I will just show you how the graph looks like for negative deviation. For negative deviation, instead of this straight lines, we are going to get a decrease in the pressure. So the decrease in pressure will look like this.